Today's question. Dear CJ, every time I try to be aware, I feel as though my mind blocks me. It feels like I am trapped in my thinking and can never seem to break out of it. Is there anything I can do? There is nothing you can do, only because the one that is trying to do is not you. It is not you. The more you try to do, the more you are not you. Because mind is a doer. Every thought is a doing. But you are not a doing. So you can't get to what you are by doing something. Doing something means you're thinking about it. Doing means you're making an effort, which is from the mind. Doing means you are trying. Doing actually means you're getting further away, in a way, from where you are, from what you are. So you cannot do it. It is not something that can be done. The thought that it can be done is what means that then you rely upon the constant thinking. You're using the mind to try to not think. But how can you not think by thinking? How can you not do by doing? Who is the one that is trying to do? It is a thought. A thought that maybe there is some identification with. A thought that you think there is someone there that can get somewhere else, can become something else, can get back to the original nature. This is the artificial intelligence. Programmed, conditioned mind. The artificial intelligence cannot be the natural intelligence. Cannot be what you really are. So the functioning through that to try to get to that is only the one that is in the way. So any effort that is made, any form of doing, any form of trying, is the one that is in the way. So you cannot do, you can only be it. It is not doing, it is being. Being requires no effort. In being, there is no distance. Tell me, how much effort does it take to be what you already are? No effort. But it takes a lot of effort to be what you're not. That's all doing. That's all energy expended. But in being, there is no energy expended. In being, you just are. It is just there. There is just a noticing of it. And even if the noticing of it is dropped, the being is still there. By virtue of you listening to these words, there is being there. There must be a being there now, always, for any experience to take place. To view whatever is happening. To the point where everything that is happening can become a confirmation of being, a confirmation of where you are, of what you are. So you can't do being. You can only be being. You can only be being. Be being is instantaneous. There is no distance to travel. There is no effort to make. There is nothing to initiate. So somehow, in recognizing this, maybe the mind, the doer, which is just a thought, can relax. Relax and it will find you. Relax and it is there. Because the mind is like thrashing around in clear water, making it dirty. The more you thrash around, the more dirty it becomes, the more that you can't see the pristine nature of what is already present. You're making effort. The more effort you make, you're blocking it. You're obscuring it. You're covering it. You're dirtying it. And then the pure being cannot be sensed, cannot be felt in a way. But it is there. Even if you're trying, you're doing, making effort, suffering, the being is there. You can't get rid of it. It is inescapable. An inescapable being. You are an inescapable being. But the conditioned mind is doing. Running here, running there. Trying this, trying that. Trying to apply this, trying to become something, trying to get something more. And the one that is doing that is actually an illusion. There is no one there. There's only a thought, the I thought, the idea of oneself, an image of oneself. The image that there is someone there that has to do something to get somewhere. You will eventually arrive at this pure being that you are. You'll eventually awaken and realize that. And in some ways, it seems that this is kind of unavoidable to some degree. But only because it's not being subtly recognized that you are not the doer. But instead that there is only the being, that you are the being. And the difference between doing and being. Action is not necessarily a doing. Action can come from being. But doing is something internal in the mind. Doing is that you are thinking that you are the one taking an action. You are thinking you are the one that is the being. You are thinking that you are someone that has to do something to get to the being. If there is action with no doer, no doing, then that action is just an expression of being. And you can't get away from any action. Action is always happening. Sitting, seemingly doing nothing, is an action. Laying down is an action. Sleeping is an action. In the world of all that is happening, including that body, including the sense perceptions, the emotions, the thoughts, there is no way to get away from action. It is all action. It is all happening. But when the thought comes in and says, I am the one that is taking the action, I am the one that is controlling what is happening, or I am someone in relation to what is happening, that then brings about the whole sense of a doer, the one that is doing, the one that has to make effort, the one that has to control, the one that has to get somewhere and get something more. And then the fundamental being, the fundamental nature that is there, the real, is covered, overlooked, ignored, cannot be felt, is not in the forefront, kind of goes off into the background. And what is in the forefront is all of this doing mind. So the more that you try to interfere, the more you're trying to get to this being to recognize what you are or to be what you are, the more you're covering it up. To recognize what you are is not necessarily the same as being what you are. The recognition is the shifting of attention. That's a very subtle form of doing. But you could say at the final hurdle, there is no step to being. It's not about bringing the attention to being. Instead, there is a kind of resting as being. The being is already at rest. The question is, will the mind, through seeing the futility of its pursuit and efforts made, realize that it cannot get to it and surrender? Stop. Relax. Rest. The moment you relax, it will find you. Enjoy the play.